Hello, more stallions. What's up? Hey, so good to see you guys. Miss you, love you, hope you're all wonderful. Sincere best wishes to you and your families at home. God bless you all. And, well, we got to do school. And I'm excited to try new things. Teachers always learning. I apologize for how long it's taken to get a improved video posted. Many of you have already read and interacted with me. Teacher plus technology mathematically equals, at least with this teacher. Took me a while to figure out what I did wrong. I uploaded the video for you guys this morning, and right before it uploaded, I noticed the volume wasn't there. I'd accidentally hit mute. All my practice videos worked perfect, and then I also noticed that some of the pictures were flipping sideways. So I'm going to try to go back to a dot camera situation, a little more what I'm used to doing every day. Okay, so we do have to learn, we do have to do some work, we do have to get graded, we will get grades for all this stuff. And so here's where we are. We are going to have a test or quiz every Friday. Sometimes they'll be entered on DMAC. You will have to show a picture of your work to get credit for it. Okay. We will have some kind of cumulative test at the end of the year. I'm not sure what that's going to be yet. We're collaborating with the 7th grade teachers, so that'll all figure itself out. We'll be fine. The good news is, guys, we were pretty much already done with the year. We've learned everything we're supposed to, or almost learned in some of our cases, right? So this is going to be a review time. We're going to go over everything from the beginning to the end again. So hopefully this second time around, if you didn't get it the first time, now you can get all caught up and understand where you're supposed to be. So if you go into accelerated next year or just regular math, you'll be A+, 100% ready to go. You know everything you're supposed to know. All right, so let's move along. We are going to flip that, and the first thing I wanted to point out, class, is, man, teacher problems, I'll tell you what. I was so excited to do this, and it's been a learning experience. Today's video is sponsored by #NotMyDay. Okay, some of you have already been communicating with me back and forth about a lot of the previous problems. Another big problem that happened today is this video took way longer because teacher not used to being at home during the day, locked myself outside. Oh my gosh. So by the time I finally redid everything to do the video from scratch, I was getting ready to hit record, and I thought, you know, the dog's going to start barking as soon as I do, so, you know, I thought I'd take him out first and be nice. You know the rest of the story. Next thing you know, I have to wait 40 minutes for my wife to get home to let me back in. So, oh my gosh, life happens. You know, we just smile and move on. That's the way it is, guys. Curveballs. Life is full of curveballs. You just have to be adaptable and move on, just like what we're doing with this. Okay, let's move to the next thing. Well, we'll get to that a little bit later. First of all, in general, I will, unless I'm working on an impossible solution situation like I had today, I will be available to correspond back and forth, do problems back and forth to help people where they're stuck between 8 and 5 p.m. Monday through Friday. Occasionally, if I have time on my hands, I might do a little bit after hours, but I can't count on that. Don't count on that. So use me during business hours. We're not all going to classes all day long, so you all will have some free time to interact back and forth with me. Usually I'll give you more than one day to do anything, but there'll be just a little bit of a few problems or easy problems to do daily to make sure you're learning what we're supposed to be learning each day. You can communicate with me or your parents through Remind, through Google Classroom messages, and through email if you look up on the school website, our staff email, okay? I have no problem with you posting questions to the Google Classroom wall, but everybody can see that, which is good sometimes because a lot of people have the same question. But if it's something like sharing a picture of your work, you need to send that as a private message or through Remind or through email where other people can't see it, okay? Right, Mr. Obvious? Okay. Let's talk about IXLs. Don't touch them. I said that on the Google Classroom message. They were ordered to be reset. The 7th grade teachers, a lot of theirs were reset last week. Ours should be reset today, any second. I haven't checked in the last hour, but as of an hour ago, they were still there. You will still retain your medallions and special awards or whatever. It's just the scores are all going to go back to 0. So now that we better know some of this material, we should be able to go back. It should be a lot easier now. And you can think to yourself, oh man, I remember this was one of the hard ones for me, but I get it now. Okay, we went really fast, but we continually built upon some of the same concepts over and over. As far as the IXLs go, if you add 50% or below on anything, I will offer something tomorrow that you can work on the rest of this week to try to make up for those scores, because next Monday they're having the progress reports go out. They were supposed to go out today, but they wanted to give you guys some extra time because they heard a lot of people didn't finish everything before spring break or over spring break. And I in particular did have 3 or 4 people in almost every class that had anywhere from 3 to 7 IXLs they just didn't do. Now that's frustrating and embarrassing to me and annoying, because I put them on the board and I told you to take pictures. I took some people in the hall and reminded you have zeros, you all need to do those, and still people didn't do them, okay? I don't have to let you redo them. Well, and you're not going to redo the XLs, but you get a chance to do a little bit of makeup work on something else I post tomorrow, okay? You don't have to. A lot of you got great grades. You missed 1 or 2, it's not a big deal. It's a homework score, okay? So a lot of you still have in the 90s or the 80s, high 80s, and you missed 1 or 2 IXLs altogether. It didn't matter much, okay? Okay, so nobody go on there. I'm not going to go back and look at those again. Let's take a quick look at what the agenda is for the week. Pretty much every week, we're going to have some kind of laid out agenda. I'll go over in a second. But each day we'll have some type of warm-ups. For this week, those warm-ups are going to include more problems off the 2 benchmark review packets we gave you. Remember, we were supposed to do benchmark 2 tomorrow. That was the original plan. Today was going to be review all day long. So there's been a change of plans. There will be some kind of benchmark 2 possibly next week. So the goal for this week, if you haven't already done them like you were supposed to over spring break, is to finish those 2 review packets. For those that threw it away, lost it, forgot about it, left it at school, or were absent a day, I will repost those tomorrow on Google Classroom tomorrow afternoon so you can do those packets. Okay. Monday, today, we're doing add, subtract, multiply, and divide of integers. That's whole numbers and their opposites, positive and negative numbers, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, etc. Tuesday will be the same thing with decimals, and then converting decimals back and forth with fractions. Wednesday will be exponents or powers, 2 to the 3rd power and square roots. And then Thursday will be converting fractions and decimals more, but also with percents, back and forth to percents. Then a weekly review, because yes, we are having a test grade on Friday. 7th grade teachers are putting that together. It's going to be over everything we do this week to make sure you take this online learning seriously. We got to do work. Okay, now the good news is, like I said, it's easy. This is the beginning of the year. It should be really easy. All right, let's take a look at a few of those problems. Let me open it up. And sticky draw. Okay, here we have, let me see, did I already, no, I didn't. Let's get the pen. Here we have 4 number sets, and the question is, which number set is correct? Okay. Now, usually there's one you can find right away that doesn't work. In this case, the 2 most people remember are the small ones, are natural numbers and whole numbers, and all 4 of these have that. Okay. So the next thing people usually do as a strategy is, which one is the largest set that has the weird things? Well, the rational numbers have fractions and decimals. So right here we can see that it's either H or J. This one has natural numbers as the biggest, so that should be the first one we saw that we could cross off. So now this one says integers is the biggest and rational second biggest. Okay, that one's gone. Okay. So now we're going to see what's different here. Whole numbers, natural numbers, integers, rational. Integers, rational. Those are the same on both of them. Those are both correct. So which one is smaller? Which comes first? Natural numbers or whole numbers? And if you remember from back at the beginning of the year, it was natural numbers is what when they had you start counting in kindergarten and whatnot, and they were like, you just used your fingers. 1, 2, 3. That's natural numbers. Whole numbers are almost exactly the same, except for they add a 0. Oh, I lost my writing. So whole numbers have a 0. Natural numbers do not. So these two are backwards. So it's going to be J. Okay. All right. Going to delete that and do the next one. And this will just be like our do nows. And what I'll usually do, guys, is I will pause for a second, or you should pause and try to do it and see if you know how to do it before I then start showing you the answers. Then you're going to have to do all the rest of the review packets to enter onto your DMAC at the end of the week. I will give you a DMAC code to enter your review packet answers. Okay, let's take a look at this one. Let's go with blue on this one. What is the value of the expression 6 3/4? And then it's next to parentheses, negative 11.5. What's that mean when it's next to? That means times, okay? So I want to multiply a fraction versus a decimal, and I got a negative in there, oh my goodness. Well, first thing I can do is I can get Dorito Man out, and I can see that there's a positive number, so I cover up the one eye, and there's a negative number, so oops, I did the wrong one. Positive and a negative. So I cover up those two, and what's left is negative. So I know my answer has to be negative. Okay? Now you can do it one of two ways. You can convert them both to decimals or both to fractions. If I convert the 11.5 to a fraction, that's easy. It's 1/2. But then I'm going to have to change the denominator to be the same. Or I'm sorry, we're going to have to make them both improper fractions. Make them mad or go Texas, we used to say, to multiply across. Okay? So it's actually usually easier to multiply decimals. And this is a quick fix. I can change 3/4 to a decimal, 6.75. So I'm going to put 6.75 on the top and 11.5 on the bottom. I need to write a little smaller. Let me try my special stylus here. So 5 times 5 is 25. That's not a lot smaller. 5 times 7, 35, 37. 5 times 6 is 30 and 33. Then I have 1 times anything is itself. I just got to put that 0 there. So it's going to be 5, 7, 6. And then I got 2 zeros. For the last one, and the same thing, 675. So my grand total is going to be a 5, a 12, 10, 15, 16, 10, 17, and 7. How many decimal places do you see? Let's change the color. I see 1, 2, 3. 3 total decimals. So down here, it's going to go right there. So my answer is 77.625. Now, I need to change that 625 to a fraction. Okay, well, I can see right now that the 77 is going to be my answer. So these two are wrong. And one is a positive and one is a negative. Well, I said from the beginning, because it was Dorito Man, the negative becomes positive, my answer has to be negative. So this is our answer right here. Okay, next and last problem from the review packet. I'll be experimenting with different apps. This one makes you back out of every move. Trash only gets rid of the picture, not the writing. Okay, last problem, input. And you guys could pause this and try to do it real quick. We did this once this year. We solved this problem once. Make my writing a little smaller. Okay. Fatima paid for 5 pallets of grass. That's important to know, because I can guarantee you one of these answers is for maybe 1 pallet, possibly. Each pallet of grass costs this much, but there's also a delivery fee. That's kind of like our B fee. That's a one-time thing. So it's going to be 5 times this, and then add that at the end. So let's do that real quick. 1, 2, 9.95, and times 5. So we have 25. I'll get my writing utensil again. 45, 47, 45, 49, 10, 14, 5, 6. Okay. There's 2 decimal places. 1, 2, 1, 2. So 649.75 cents. Hey, look, guys, it's there. That's the answer, right? No, because we still have this delivery fee. Okay, that's why you should always go back and look at the question, look what you circled, make sure you got everything. The delivery fee I just wrote over was 76.20 cents. So 76.20, one-time fee. So it's going to be 95 cents. 5, 8, 12, 7, 25, and 95 cents. There it is, A, right in front of us the whole time. Okay, so that's how we do that. Alright, so let's get into the lesson for today. Before you watch what I have, you can pause for a moment and go to the link I posted on Google Classroom, or you can just search it right here. It's on YouTube, Add and Subtract Integers by Brain Pop. It's just 4 minutes long and remind you of the strategies. And when you come back, we'll go over one more thing and get started. Pause this and go do that? Okay. Alright, so next, as a reminder, we did a number of strategies in class. Okay, I'm going to go over those. Let's look at what our objective is today. Integers, we will add, subtract, multiply, and divide negative numbers. That's where everybody had problems. We will use various strategies, and including Dorito Man, to help solve operations with negative numbers. Okay, so let's remind ourselves, you can pick which strategy works best for you. One of the first ones we did is if we have the small numbers, like 3 minus 7, we could use counters. That's where you just make, there's positive 3, so I'm going to make 3 plus signs, and there's 7 negatives. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay? Then we pair up a positive with a negative like this. That was called zero pairs, and what is left is our answer. There's 4 negatives left, so that's my answer. That was counters. That was one of our strategies. The other strategy we had was a number line. I jokingly called it cheating. Sometimes the numbers aren't small numbers. You have like negative 57 plus 4 or something like that. But you can just draw a number line. Let's make a problem. Negative 5 minus 3. Okay? And you just pick a spot to start. I'll put negative 5 right here. And then you're going to go, and you start at the first number, and you're going to go in the direction of the second number. It's negative. Negative is more this way, so I'm going to bunny hop 3 spots to the negative. 1, 2, 3. And then I can count backwards and see where I'm at. Negative 5, negative 6, negative 7, and negative 8. Now there was a rule that said how to solve that, but that's just the number line. Okay, let's do one more number line, and we'll do negative 3 plus 5. Here's 0, 1, 2, 3. Here's negative 3, and because of that, and I guess I can put a couple more this way. We start where they tell us, negative 3. And then it's telling us to go 5 in the positive direction. Bunny hop 5 positive, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Where you end is your answer. And you can see if you count that 0, 1, 2. So your answer is 2. Okay? So there's 2 cheat ways to do it. But sometimes the numbers are way too big and you have to do other things. So The third strategy we used was the same sign rule. Anytime they have the same sign, you just add them and keep the same sign. You already know that rule, because if I said 2 plus 3, you know that's 5. How do you know it's not negative 5? Because you got a positive 2 and a positive 3, so you just add them and they're both going to be positive. So the same thing if it's negative. If I have negative 2 minus 3, that's where everybody gets confused. But the same sign rule says you just add them. We're going from negative 2 to more negative to negative 3 more. So you still just get 5 and negative. Alright? That's the same sign rule. What if they're different? So if they're different, let's switch boards. Diff sign rule. If they're different, you subtract them. So 3 minus 2. You already know that one. There's a positive 3 and a negative 2, so you just subtract them. That's what different sign rule means. The only thing you need to know is you keep the symbol of the biggest digit. So 3 is bigger than 2, so you're going to have a positive answer. So if you did negative 7 plus 3, you just subtract 7 minus 3, the biggest number, digit minus the smallest digit. 7 is the biggest minus the smallest digit, 3, and you get 4. But my answer has to have the same symbol as the biggest digit. So 7 wins. There's more negatives than positives, so my answer has to be negative. Okay? Alright, that covers same sign rule, different sign rule, number line, and counters. There's only a couple other things left we talked about. Let's go to blackboard with green. We talked about, think of it as money. If it's positive, you own it, or it's your money. If it's negative, you owe it. You're getting ready to buy something. So if you wanted to buy something for $3 and something for $6, that's technically money you owe. It's going out of your pocket, so they're negatives. Okay? And let's say you have $10. That's a positive. You own it. So you add the two things with the same sign. You're buying something for $3 and something for $6. You're spending $9. And then you just take it away from your $10. You're going to end up having $1 left. Okay? So some people like to think of money. The last one we did at the beginning of the year was just to get a visual, hill or a hole. Okay? So I'll go to green here. If I have 3, so that's going to be like above ground, there's a pile of dirt. That's 3. And I want to go minus 10. Okay? Well, first you're going to minus 3 from the 3, and then what's left? You're going to go down an additional 7. So when you're all done, 3 feet of dirt minus 10 feet of dirt, you end up with a 7-foot hole, just like the picture we drew. That's what we did earlier in the year. Okay, the very last one that we started doing halfway through the year somewhere. Lunch table. What did we say? That's right. Negative people. Okay? So if and you guys seem to understand that concept better for some reason, so that's great. So if you have negative 5 people at a table, and you have 3 positive friends coming to sit down, what's the table going to be when you're done? It's still going to be negative 2. Okay? Alright. So you find which strategy you like the best. That's what you're going to do. Okay? Alright, so let's go look at the problems now. We're going to import photos, and we're going to go look at. We have to delete all those. Okay, sorry. Alright, so one more time. We're going to put in, this is the homework you guys have. And since it's getting posted late, you can have till tomorrow night to finish it, but they're super easy. You're only going to do the evens, and I'm going to do a couple odds on each page to give you an example. So there's 5 different pictures of problems. You're not going to worry about the word problems. Don't worry about that. You're just going to focus on the evens, okay? So as an example, this is the same sign rule. These are all negatives plus each other. So I'm just going to add them and keep the same sign. 5 negative people plus 4 negative people, because it's 9 negative people. You just add them and keep the negative symbol. Okay, now down here is a little bit more difficult. They have 3 of them. It looks confusing with all those negatives. And you know they could write it differently. They could also, some people get confused by all the plus and minus signs. What if they just said -4 minus 5 minus 6? It's the same thing as -4 plus -5 plus -6. It's just 3 negative numbers. It's more negative. So 4 plus 6 is 10, plus 5 is 15 negative. Okay? So you're going to do the even numbers. Alright, next one. That was 4 problems you can do. And after these, we're done, guys. Okay? Next assignment. Now, we have negatives plus a positive. They're different sign rules. So the different sign rule says you just subtract them from each other. You guys will be doing these 3 on this page. Don't worry about that one. So you take the 14 minus 8. There's 6 left over. Now, which symbol am I going to use? Well, the 8 is a smaller digit than the 14. 14 is positive. There's more positive than negative, so the answer is going to be positive 6. Okay? Now let's look at number 11. We have negative 21 and a 5. So you just take the biggest digit. They're a different sign rule, so you subtract the smaller digit. So 21 minus 5 is going to be 16. And there's 21's the biggest number, so the negatives win. It's going to be negative 16 is the answer. Okay? Simple? Alright. Almost halfway done with the problems. Another picture. Zoom. Okay. Alright, so this time it also is positive and negatives, but they're trying to confuse you. If you notice, there's some where there's extra negatives. Okay, well, let's start with the first one. We have a negative and a positive. So you will only be doing these ones over here, by the way. You take the biggest digit minus the smallest digit. 11 minus 8 is 3. 11 is the bigger number. It's negative, so the answer has to be negative 3. Let's look at number 9. 0 minus a negative 5. So a lot of people are going to put negative 5 for that. We've talked about this many times. That's a double negative. Don't not do your homework. They really want you to do your homework. And if you look, it looks like a giant plus sign. You see right there. It looks like a giant plus sign. That's the other trick we said. Okay? So it's really saying 0 plus 5. So the answer is just positive 5. And then this bottom one, a lot of people put 0. That's wrong. It's minus a negative 19. So I just showed you a moment ago. That's like saying it's plus. Okay? So 19 plus 19 is going to be 38. Alright, so you're doing these. Watch out for the double negatives. Okay. Now we're just going to talk very briefly about Dorito Man, and we'll do 2 little homework sets of problems on multiplying and dividing negative numbers. Okay, so Dorito Man, it says right here, is only for multiplication and division, not for plus and minus. And that's why we always put a crown on his head, to remind us he is the king of multiplication and division, or queen. And remember, we drew like a little cliff here, made it like Lion King. And down here in the valley are all his peeps coming to pay the respects, all the times signs and divide signs. Because that's all he does, is just multiply and divide, okay? And then, one quick example, you guys all remember this. If I had negative 3 times 7, that's a negative, so I cover up one of his eyes, that's a negative, and a positive 7, so I cover up his mouth, which is positive. What's left? Negative. So the answer has to, oh, I see what's happening. There we go. So the answer has to be negative. So 3 times 7 is 21, and it has to be negative 21, okay? Okay, now that we remember that, we can do the last 2 pages. Okay, link the picture. Zoom. Okay, there's more problems on this page. Don't freak out, they're easy. So you're going to be doing the positives. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. You don't have to worry about the word problems, okay? So that's 6 more problems. So let's look at number 1 as an example. I have a negative times a positive. So if I cover up a positive and negative, it's going to be a negative answer. So negative 9. Let's look at number 3. I have a negative times a negative. If I cover up the 2 eyes on Dorito Man, that means his answer has to be positive. 9 times 6 is 54. And then the last one I'll do is negative 7 times negative 7. 49. And they're both negatives, so you cover both eyes. What's left is got to be positive. Okay? So you will do the rest of those, and then we'll show the last page. And you guys are done. And normally you wouldn't be doing these, you'd be doing IXLs, okay? But this is just until the IXLs get zeroed out. Ooh, fraction's scary, right? Okay, what's fraction mean? Divide. So we say TIBO, and we're not worried about these 2 down here. TIBO, T-I-B-O, that stands for top number in, bottom number out. Okay? So, you're doing the evens. There's like 7 of them here. So I'll do number 1. Negative 14 divided by 2. Well, first things first, if I do Dorito Man, I have a negative and a positive. So I cover those up. My answer has to be negative. 14 divided by 2 is 7. Look at number 5. Negative 45 divided by negative 5. If I cover up the 2 negatives, my answer has to be positive. So 45 divided by 5 is 9. 0 divided by anything is 0. So it doesn't matter. You cannot have a negative 0. That's a trick question. Okay, that's it, guys. So the last thing I'm going to show you is the homework policy. And this is how it'll work when we do the DMAC stuff as well. So for tonight's homework, until the IXLs are up, you are doing the even numbers on all those 5 pictures I showed, and you have to show your work. Now obviously, some of them are too easy to show your work for these homeworks. If it's 7 times 3 is 21, if it's a multiplication table. But there were some of the higher number problems, or like 500 divided by 5, or things like that. Then you need to like show the little division house and show me your steps, okay? Send a picture of your answers and showing your steps on the ones that need to show your steps. I don't care how smart you are. No, look, I'm the teacher. I'm showing steps on basic problems. Nobody better send me just the answers or you're getting a 0. You understand? Just like the 8th grade teachers do and the 7th grade teachers do. Alright, good luck guys. Have a wonderful evening, and we won't do as many problems as they get a little harder. Signing off.